It's 2025, and Donald Trump is back in the spotlight, reshaping American foreign policy with the same bold strokes that defined his first term. But this time, his attention is sharply focused on Asia. Behind the scenes, Trump is courting strategic allies, economic giants, and military partners, countries he once pulled closer into America's orbit. These aren't just symbolic gestures. We're talking defense deals, massive trade realignments, and energy talks worth tens of billions. In Trump's world, loyalty is transactional, and these 10 Asian nations are either being rewarded or roped into tighter U.S. influence. Buckle up, because the geopolitical board is shifting. Number 10 is already proving how far Trump is willing to go. Number 10, Vietnam. Vietnam has become a surprising linchpin in Trump's second-term strategy. With Apple and other tech giants moving operations there, Vietnam is quickly replacing China in key U.S. supply chains. In fact, trade between the two nations reached a record $124 billion in 2023, with the U.S. accounting for over 30% of Vietnam's exports. But don't think it's all rosy. In April 2025, Trump slapped a harsh 46% reciprocal tariff on Vietnamese goods, citing trade imbalances and currency manipulation. The Vietnamese government called the move short-sighted, but it hasn't derailed ongoing talks for a broader trade agreement. Trump knows Vietnam is too important to let go. What makes Vietnam such a prime target? Location and leverage. It borders the South China Sea, plays a balancing act with Beijing, and provides cheap labor with rising standards. That's a trifecta for U.S. companies and policymakers alike. Behind the scenes, military cooperation is quietly expanding. Joint naval exercises and defense tech partnerships are deepening ties, even if they're not front-page news yet. This isn't just economics. It's geopolitical chess. Trump's ultimate goal? To turn Vietnam into a reliable partner that can counterbalance China without becoming another China. A tricky dance, but one Trump is eager to lead. Next up, a country that brings firepower, votes, and a massive trade agenda to the table. Number 9, India. India has emerged as a strategic favorite in U.S. foreign policy circles, especially under Trump's renewed vision for America's global alliances. With shared concerns about China, a growing economy, and strong military ties, India is increasingly viewed as an indispensable partner. Trump has publicly praised India multiple times, emphasizing trade, defense cooperation, and the massive Indian-American diaspora in the U.S. In 2020, Trump visited India and declared that the relationship was stronger than ever, pledging billions in defense deals and expanded trade agreements. Fast forward to 2025, and this momentum hasn't slowed, especially with India's role in the Quad alliance alongside Japan, Australia, and the U.S. Both countries have engaged in major joint military exercises, and India now participates in more defense collaborations with the U.S. than ever before. Trump's rhetoric positions India not just as a partner but as a model of economic growth and national pride, traits he often aligns with his own political vision. In his recent speeches, he referred to India as a powerhouse of potential and a necessary ally to safeguard the Indo-Pacific region. The U.S. is even considering more streamlined visa and work programs to attract Indian talent, especially in tech and medicine. While Trump hasn't literally said he wants India to be part of the U.S., his policies indicate a desire for the deepest integration possible short of statehood. From military bases to trade infrastructure, many analysts argue the U.S. is extending an open invitation to India to play a central role in shaping a post-China world order. This growing closeness is also seen as a counterbalance to Beijing's influence, positioning India as the democratic heavyweight of Asia. The U.S. wants India on its side, firmly, permanently, and with maximum collaboration. Number 8, Japan. Japan has long been a cornerstone of U.S. policy in the Pacific, and Trump has consistently voiced admiration for Japan's resilience, economy, and strategic importance. During his presidency, Trump strengthened defense ties with Tokyo and pressured Japan to boost its own military spending to match shared defense responsibilities. Japan's economic clout and technological prowess make it a key asset in the U.S. vision for a stable Indo-Pacific. Trump has repeatedly described Japan as a model ally, highlighting its role in containing North Korea and deterring China's growing regional ambitions. In many ways, Japan serves as a template for what Trump wants in Asian allies: loyalty, independence, and military readiness. Under Trump's influence, discussions even floated about expanding U.S. troop presence in Japan and broadening joint military operations. Japanese companies continue to invest heavily in the American economy, further cementing mutual interests. In 2025, those trends have only intensified, with new cybersecurity agreements and AI partnerships coming to the forefront. Trump's admiration for Japan goes beyond policy. He often points to Japan's cultural unity and disciplined workforce as something America should emulate. He's framed the U.S.-Japan alliance as not just strategic, but deeply respectful and economically vital. Japan is portrayed not just as an ally, but a permanent partner in defending democracy. Some Trump-era officials have even suggested a Pacific Alliance Treaty, a concept that would lock the U.S. and Japan into a more formal, almost federation-like economic and military partnership. Whether or not that materializes, the message is clear. Trump sees Japan as family, not just a friend. Together, India and Japan represent the core of Trump's dream team in Asia, reliable, powerful, and firmly aligned against common adversaries. Number 7. Indonesia. Indonesia might not always dominate headlines in the West, but Trump has expressed interest in deepening ties with this Southeast Asian giant. As the world's fourth most populous country and the largest Muslim-majority nation, Indonesia holds strategic, economic, and political significance. Trump's past remarks on wanting stronger partnerships in the Indo-Pacific included praise for Indonesia's leadership role. In 2020, U.S. and Indonesian officials discussed expanding defense cooperation, and under a Trump return, this could escalate into broader trade and infrastructure agreements. Indonesia's positioning near key maritime routes makes it an essential piece in U.S. efforts to counterbalance China's growing influence in the South China Sea. Trump's America First philosophy ironically included bringing allies closer, especially those that can contribute to geopolitical containment. Indonesia also appeals to Trump for its natural resource wealth and potential as a counterweight to China in Southeast Asia. While not an outright request to join the U.S., the former president has indicated he wants more joint ventures, military drills, and investment platforms with Jakarta. In Trump's eyes, cooperation with Indonesia could signal a diplomatic win without direct confrontation. Number 6. Philippines. Trump has always had a soft spot for strongmen leaders, and that included former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte. The Philippines has long been a key U.S. ally, but under Trump, there was a renewed focus on military cooperation and counterterrorism support. Despite Duterte's erratic behavior, Trump praised his tough leadership and invited closer ties. During Trump's administration, the U.S. maintained its visiting forces agreement with the Philippines, allowing U.S. troops to operate there on a rotational basis. Trump's transactional approach to diplomacy made the Philippines an ideal partner, a frontline ally willing to provide military access in exchange for economic and security benefits. The country's proximity to Taiwan and the South China Sea makes it indispensable to any Indo-Pacific strategy. If Trump were to return, it's highly likely he would fast-track defense deals and infrastructure initiatives like port upgrades and energy projects. With Marcos Jr. now in office and pursuing friendlier ties with the U.S., Trump could repackage the alliance into something much more aggressive, potentially resembling a strategic merger in everything but name. Number 5. Thailand. Thailand's strategic location and growing regional influence have caught the attention of Trump-era policymakers. As Southeast Asia's second-largest economy and a key U.S. treaty ally, Thailand has often played both sides between the West and China. Trump sees Thailand as a potential security partner to counterbalance Chinese expansion and maintain naval access to the South China Sea. Beyond defense, Thailand's booming tourism, agricultural exports, and medical tourism sectors align with Trump's trade-centric worldview. With over 800,000 American tourists annually, stronger bilateral ties could boost mutual revenue. Trump has previously praised Thailand's business opportunities and even floated favorable trade arrangements with Bangkok. The challenge lies in Thailand's internal politics and its close ties with Beijing, which complicate full alignment with U.S. interests. While Thailand has hosted U.S. military exercises, it has also signed defense deals with China. Trump's vision for incorporating Thailand hinges on leveraging economic ties to tilt Bangkok away from Beijing. Still, the idea of Trump formally integrating Thailand into U.S. influence zones may be more symbolic than literal, but there's no denying its place in Trump's preferred Asian power circle. Thailand stands as a crucial chess piece in the U.S.-China rivalry. Number 4. Singapore. Singapore is small in size but mighty in global finance and military logistics. Its location at the tip of the Malacca Strait, one of the world's busiest shipping routes, makes it a geopolitical asset. Trump has repeatedly lauded Singapore's efficiency, discipline, and capitalist success model. During his presidency, Trump praised Singapore's strong leadership and hosted historic talks with North Korea there. The city-state's financial system is deeply interlinked with American investment flows, and its port serves as a strategic node for U.S. naval operations. These factors make Singapore a prime candidate in Trump's Asia vision. Singapore's neutral yet Western-aligned stance fits Trump's foreign policy aim: strengthen ties without costly military entanglements. Its robust legal system, pro-business policies, and aversion to corruption also earn high marks. Trump-era officials even explored digital trade deals and cyber cooperation with Singapore. However, Singapore's insistence on neutrality means it's unlikely to be openly partisan. Trump understands this but views Singapore as a silent ally in a region dominated by Chinese sway. In his view, Singapore is already functioning like an honorary U.S. partner. So while there's no annexation or official expansion, Singapore's economic and strategic role makes it indispensable in Trump's imagined pro-America Asia network. Number 3. Taiwan. Few Asian nations capture Trump's strategic focus like Taiwan. While not officially recognized diplomatically, Taiwan receives robust U.S. support economically and militarily, and Trump has historically backed strengthening those ties. Taiwan's economy is built on innovation, especially in semiconductors. Companies like TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, control over 60% of global chip production, a critical input for everything from smartphones to fighter jets. The U.S. is Taiwan's second-largest trading partner, and bilateral trade reached $106 billion in 2024. American tech firms deeply rely on Taiwanese manufacturers to sustain supply chains. Taiwan also hosts an expanding U.S. unofficial presence, with increasing military cooperation and arms sales. Trump has consistently argued for bolstering Taiwan as a buffer against China's regional ambitions. With its economic might and strategic location, Taiwan plays a central role in Trump's preferred Indo-Pacific framework, making it a country he would likely want even closer to U.S. influence. Number 2. South Korea. South Korea has long been one of the U.S.'s closest military allies in Asia, and that didn't change during Trump's first term. Despite pressure over defense spending contributions, Trump maintained a strong partnership with Seoul, recognizing its strategic location near China and North Korea. Economically, South Korea is a technology powerhouse. Trump often cited Samsung and Hyundai as symbols of South Korea's strength, encouraging greater trade and tech collaboration. His administration advocated for expanding the U.S.-Korea Free Trade Agreement, KORUS. On security, Trump's maximum pressure campaign on North Korea hinged heavily on South Korean diplomacy. Though at times tense, the triangular diplomacy between Seoul, Pyongyang, and Washington was a key aspect of his foreign policy playbook. Trump still sees Seoul as essential to maintaining leverage in Northeast Asia. South Korea's support for the U.S. Indo-Pacific strategy and shared democratic values make it a likely fixture in Trump's future foreign policy framework. Military bases, economic alignment, and regional coordination solidify its role. If Trump regains power, expect renewed demands for fairer cost-sharing in defense, but also stronger defense technology integration. South Korea's role as a buffer, ally, and innovation leader places it squarely in Trump's list of favored Asian partners. Number 1. Brunei. At first glance, Brunei might not scream U.S. strategic partner, but for Trump, it's exactly the kind of nation he'd quietly champion. Why? Because Brunei is rich in oil, fiercely independent, and extremely conservative, all boxes that align with Trump's vision of strong leadership. As one of the wealthiest countries in Asia by GDP per capita, Brunei's energy reserves make it a valuable wildcard. Despite its small size, Brunei plays a disproportionately influential role in regional trade and maritime navigation in Southeast Asia. Trump's foreign policy has always favored resource-rich nations that don't rely on globalist institutions, and Brunei fits that mold. In his 2024 remarks on Indo-Pacific energy independence, he referenced the untapped potential of smaller partners with big resources, widely interpreted as a nod to Brunei. The country's government operates under absolute monarchy with deeply rooted Islamic values, policies that Trump has openly praised as decisive and unapologetically nationalistic. During a 2023 interview, Trump said, "Some leaders aren't afraid to defend their culture. We need more of that." Brunei's stance on sovereignty and tradition earns it silent respect in his worldview. In Trump's strategic blueprint, Brunei is the dark horse, a conservative, oil-rich monarchy that aligns with his values and could become a loyal energy and defense ally if pulled closer into the American orbit. So what does this all add up to? This list isn't about nations becoming American states. It's about creating a geopolitical circle of trust. These 10 Asian countries reflect Trump's ideal world order, one that is loyal, resource-rich, unapologetically sovereign, and anti-China. From defense to ideology, trade to territory, Trump's global vision isn't random, it's calculated. And if 2025 is any indicator, these nations are no longer just neighbors. They're auditioning for a spot in Trump's version of Greater America. Which country surprised you the most on this list? Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit that subscribe button, because global politics is moving fast, and this is just the beginning.